Immediately, there was rejection from the other kids. At first, I thought it was just because I was a new kid on the block, but even the kids who I rode the bus with, who lived in the same neighborhood I did, kind of kept me at arm's length. I didn't know what was really going on, but there was absolutely no friendships beginning or blossoming at all. In fact, it developed into a form of rejection and abuse. It was at this time that I heard the word fag for the first time. It's funny, kids can tell there's something different in someone really before you even know. So at the age of 8, I didn't know much of anything about me, but the other kids knew there was something different, and the abuse started. The abuse got so bad that at one point I had to be escorted by the dean of the junior high school from class to class because I was getting beaten every day on a regular basis. I would be beat with 2x4s. I would have rocks and boulders thrown at me outside of gym. I would have to, like I said, be escorted to classes because anything from people taking my books and throwing them in the trash to knocking me down in the hall and stomping on my head. It was just a constant torture. At one point in gym class, I was outside and the other boys had taken my clothes that I was wearing to school that day and stuffed them into a toilet and urinated on them. And when I came back in from gym class, I found my clothes and I was held down and forced to wear the urinated covered clothing. And there was nothing I could really do because I couldn't speak up or I'd be beaten. So I just had to go to the office of the school that morning covered in urine and have my mother come pick me up. And of course, at this point, my mother blamed me. My mother started calling me names like panty waist and faggot. And I was getting it from both ends. It never seemed to end. So I withdrew. I had no friends. My mother now at this point was becoming very abusive to me also. At one point, she was obsessed with me. Now she's kind of hating on me, if you will. So I withdrew into my room, and rock stars became my best friends. I think in my mind I thought, oh, if I could just be as cool as these guys, on the stage with these guitars, that maybe people would like me. That's probably still relevant today. It's kind of in my core, this dream of always wanting to be a rock star, and it's still kind of apparent today. But I idolized. My world became obsessed with rock groups like Kiss. Aerosmith and Cheap Trick and all the rock and roll bands, the theatrical, outrageous bands of the late 70s and early 80s. It was at this time that I realized that the words and the names that they were calling me were actually accurate, and I realized that I was homosexual. I found myself to be developing strong sexual attractions towards other men, and not knowing really what to do with this or how to figure it out. I remember a man approached me one day in a bathroom at McDonald's in the mall and asked me if I would come home with him, and I knew very well what his intent was, and I went. And at the age of 13, I lost my virginity to probably a 40-year-old man. Not knowing what to do with all of that, I just continued to move ahead into high school, and the abuse continued and the torture continued, and no friends until I decided to get the nerve up and audition to join the drama club, which I did. And started to make some friends. But by now, we're in my junior to senior year of high school. And I had made some friends. And the school year, my high school years were coming to an end. I was getting ready to graduate, and I came out of the closet to my friends in high school, and thinking that they would embrace me and accept me, it was exactly the opposite. They turned on me. They would write the word fag and gasoline in front of my house and set it on fire. Again, nothing but total and utter rejection. And this just sent me reeling into looking for some kind of happiness or some sense of meaning somewhere.